Welcome to Wednesday Reflections Podcast. I'm your host, Aaliyah. And today, to continue Friendship Month, I have a very close friend, my sister, my platonic wife. Faith, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, it's Faith.
Hello. So, Faith, how has your week been? Just give us a little recap, like where you've been mentally, and you can even let us know if you feel comfortable, like what you do for work and those types of things.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's been a pretty good week, honestly. During the month as they have been going by, honestly, as the weather is changing, we've been having a lot more like sick patients coming in. So as what I do for work, I'm a medical assistant. I work in a healthcare clinic, doing like same day care. So most of the patients we see are like sick patients. Is what we typically see, but yeah, my week has been pretty good. Coming back from the fair, we had a great time there, and then just starting the week off great. And yeah, just getting ready for what life brings us.
Yes. And so you guys don't know this, but with the fair, we just went to the Renaissance Fair out here in Arizona on Sunday. It was my first time going. She was actually the one who invited me, her and her husband. So they invited my husband and I to go out, and the theme was pirates. And it was really fun. It was a lot of walking, and there was just so many different like new things to experience. And I guess my question for you, Faith, is what has you interested in things like that? Because it was not her first time going, but it was fun.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, I don't even know. I don't know. It's just so fun. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen like Pirates in the Caribbean,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially it's like that, like that vibe, and it's just like super fun, and like just watching like the shows. I don't know, it's kind of like taking a break from what we live day on day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice just taking a break outside of the normal, outside of the routine, especially if you dress up, it makes it even better because, everyone essentially goes all dressed up and everything. Um, and so you guys just like get to have the food, and yeah, if you guys haven't gone, I really recommend it. Each weekend that they do for the Renaissance Fair is like a different weekend, as in costumes. For example, the weekend my friend and I went, for example, Leah and her husband, and my husband and I, we went, it was during Pirate Week, which is really awesome. Essentially, you get to just dress up as any pirate you want, and then everyone does the same, and then you guys all have a good time. There's like shops and just, shows, free shows and everything. It's really fun. I really recommend it.
Yes, and they even had corsets, and I was surprised that they were saying that they had corsets up to 3X or 4X, something like that, which is very hard to find for bigger chest women like myself. And I did want to say that going to the Renaissance Fair was actually like stepping into a new world because they have a whole town, dedicated to it. So it was really something fun and something new to explore. So I'm really glad that I did get that invite. And my friend looked good, y'all. She showed out like her bracelets, like the colors that she chose, like she looked good.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
But
No, but yeah, for the public to know, I have green hair.
and
And
blue.
yeah. And so my costume or whatever, my skirt just kind of matched with my hair. And so it was just really fun.
Yes, and so I do want to maneuver into letting the people know how long we have been friends for and kind of like what the start of our friendship kind of was. Once again, y'all, this is my longest friendship ever, and usually Faith gets this wrong. So I'm going to
Oh
ask
my
you,
goodness.
which grade was it that we became friends?
Oh my goodness. Okay, yes. If you guys don't know me, but I have the world's worst memory. If I could remember what I had yesterday, that would be like, A1 sauce. But as to your question, I typically say fourth grade, but if I remember correctly, Aliyah always says third grade.
Okay, okay. She learning, y'all. Yes,
That's
it
right.
was in the third grade. Do you remember the exact day of how we became friends, or do you have any recollection of that kind of beginning point?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, I remember that when I was younger, well, I've always been a talker, as you guys can probably tell by now. Um, I've always like loved showing people around the school and like just like being like super friendly to them, being like, "Hey, what's up? You know, you're not alone." I know changing schools can be like a big deal, you know. But yeah, welcome, you know, and just like showed you around. As for us per se, I believe it was kind of the same, or like, you know, I saw a new face and I just like came up to you, or pretty sure I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" You probably thought it was weird, but it's okay.
I will say this with our friendship, I don't remember exactly everything. How I have it in my head was that Faith has adopted me. Like I was new at the school, and then next thing you know, I had a best friend, and you were actually, I don't know if you know this, but you're actually the person who kind of made it like okay to be like weird. And like I remember one of the first things that you had said to me in elementary was like, I'm a nerd and I don't care. Like, I'm a nerd. It is what it is. And I really like that about you.
Yeah. Honestly, I've always been like, I don't know, I guess like a giant goofball in a way, just because like I've always worn like a bunch of colors. I remember something I do remember from elementary school was wearing like colored pants. You know,
Yeah.
like, if you remember.
Yes, because that was on trend though. Like you had to have the blue pants, the red
Oh my
pants. Like,
gosh.
yeah, yeah,
Yes. I still remember to this day, and I was obsessed over them. Was these purplish, pinkish pants. Those were my absolute favorite pants. And then I would wear those with like Converse, you know.
yeah. It was the swag era at that point. Yeah, that's when Bieber still had his bob or whatever.
Oh my gosh. Talk about Justin Bieber right now.
Yes, like it was like that era, the One Direction era.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the
Yeah.
mindless behavior era. So I wanted to hear from your perspective, like, what do you kind of remember about us then? Like yourself, you know, the younger Aaliyah that we were in elementary, and what do you think is still alive in you today? So whatever was in you as a kid of how you used to be, what do you think is still alive that you still do or you still think?
Oh my goodness. Well, for me, I don't know. But for you, I can say like just like things that have like that I've noticed about you or that things that I remember about you like growing up. For example, you have always been like a businesswoman. You know, you've always strived to like go out and try new things and like, you know, always tried to like be a better person and like always tried to like get to the next step, you know? And that's something I really admire and like really like appreciate you as a friend, not only as like a person, just because like you keep me on my path. You know, for example, like if I'm like, you know what, I'm not doing okay or whatever, you're just like words of motivation. And that's something I really appreciate and everything. But as for myself, I don't know. I guess what I can say is the fact that like back then I used to be like very like talkative and I guess I still am, which is nice, but I don't know. I guess it's different now. You know, life kind of hits you sometimes and so you have to mature a little bit and like be a better person and like be a bigger person on in certain situations. I guess something that's always stuck around for me is my creativity.
Okay,
Um
for sure.
yeah. Like I'm very much so like I love like trying to help people, trying to just be there for my friends and just like, I don't know, like just try to make it better if that makes sense. I don't know.
I was gonna say, some one thing about you is that you definitely care for people a lot, and so even now in your profession, you're getting paid to care for people, but you've been doing that even before, like you were getting paid for it, and I think that that's something that I admire because you bring people together. Like you're very like community driven, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool to see. So that's the thing that I would say has been like really consistent since, kids and like meeting. And then one thing for the both of us that's been consistent is our types and guys.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Like the type has stayed the same.
Yeah.
Um, so I did want to discuss with you also just with like how would you describe our friendship? Like how do you see it from your perspective, and then after you give yours, I'll kind of share it from mine.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't know how to explain. It's really nice the fact that like you're married, for example, right? I have a husband, of course, as well, and it's really nice being able to like go on couple dates and like do things as a couple, for example, like double dates and things like that, you know. I think that's something that's like super cool and like I don't know. Um, but yeah, what was the question?
Just how
This is
do
my
you
short-term memory, guys.
so, and like how do you view our friendship like
Oh.
just as a whole?
Oh yeah, no, I love our friendship. Honestly, anytime I go through any like difficult trial or anything like that, like I know that you're a woman of God, for example, like you turn to God for a lot of things, especially when you're going through hard moments.
Yeah.
And I'm very much so the same in that aspect, in the fact that like I go to church, for example, and I'm very like religious in that aspect. Um, and so it's nice to be able to like, for example, when you're going through a difficult trial and you explain to a friend what you're going through and everything like that, just the aspect of like, but you're a woman of God, you have faith. What are you doing? You have faith. Why are you doubting? And it's just nice being able to like have that reminder and being like, you're doubting yourself right now, but you're a woman of God, and God is a God of miracles, and he has power, and he will not let his children fade away into dust, and he'll abandon you. Of course he's not going to abandon you, you know.
Yeah.
So that's something I really appreciate about our friendship, and I really love our friendship in the aspect that like we can be honest and we can be ourselves around each other. We can be, goofballs, or we can be serious. We can have deep conversations. We could, just talk about life and just be real, being like, you know what? For example, for me, if like I'm ever having a difficult time during my relationship or anything, I can talk to you about it, and you can relate on some things.
Yeah, and I will say, like, one with the double dates that you had mentioned, I like the fact that our husbands actually get along. Like, our husbands are
Mm-hmm.
actually friends, and that makes it a lot easier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes it's a hit or miss when, me and you are friends, or like, girlfriends, y'all are cool, and then you guys are dating people, and then you kind of like are pushing them to each other because you're like, get along, get along, get along. But the fact that they actually do and they're forming their friendship, it's like I really like to see that. And then also here on our own, I really like what it is that you're saying, because I feel like we do both motivate each other. But one thing that's nice too is the fact that we're both married and we're both kind of like figuring out what marriage is. And then even if
Mm-hmm.
we do, for example, talk about whatever may be happening in relationships, obviously nothing that's like crazy that's like, girl, you got to get out. But
Yeah.
like in those times, we're not going to be like, oh yeah, you gotta leave your husband because like, girl, that's my husband. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I love this man.
No.
It's not going
Same.
to be like that. It's going to be one biblical wisdom. Like, we can give each other our opinions, but at the end of the day, it's going to be like Christ centered
Mm-hmm.
of the advice that we're giving.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. I definitely agree on that because like say for example we are having like a difficult time, like we're never like something that I've noticed about us is that like if we've ever wanted, for example, to like change careers or something, you've always been like, "Girl, do it. Just go for it." And I'm always like, "I don't know." And you're like, "Just do it."
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and like same like vice versa, if you ever wanted to like do something new or like try something out. I'm always going to support you and I'm always going to, help you in whatever you need help with, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I can say about you is that you've always supported anything that I've done, like business wise, career wise, and even outside of that, like even since we were kids, because I know but they don't know. I was the hustler student. Like I was the one who was
Yes.
selling freaking stickers and the tattoos and jewelry, like all types of stuff, random things. I was selling them all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Like in elementary, I was even selling books that I would write, like little shorts, like little short stories. Like,
Guys, you have no idea. When I said she was a go-getter, she literally was a go-getter. Like,
yeah,
in the aspect of like, she's always been a businesswoman. For example, like, trying to sell things or trying to get like this or that, or like she had a goal in mind. She always tried to like accomplish her goals, which is something really good, for a person to have. But at the
yeah.
same time, me trying to be supportive friends, sometimes, let me tell you a story.
Go ahead.
This one time, so I really like the color blue and I still do. Okay. There was times where she would bring like the most random like things that I was like, I don't even know what this is. But but to support her, I'd like buy it. And so it wasn't until like fairly recently where like I was like, you know what, I have something to tell you. And then that's when she was like, all right.
Yeah, so I feel like I probably see blue used to be her favorite color. I probably made her not like blue anymore, y'all.
No.
She's like, I need a new color. I need something else.
No.
But yeah, like things like that, and like this podcast, she supports me in that, and like even in the time that I did own my own business and I had a boutique, like you would just always be supportive of those types of things, and that's one thing that I appreciated. And then today, as adults, we have like more room, and by more room, I feel like we're adults, we're working now, you know what I mean? So now it's like a whole other like playing field of friendship. And I will say that we hang out. I mean, obviously we don't hang out as much as we were hanging out when we were in school, of course, because who has the time? There's so much responsibilities, but it's always fun. Like she's always hosting parties and things like that too. One of the things that I did want to discuss with you is just kind of being like open and transparent. Like in our friendship, y'all, I feel like in almost any friendship, you have like the ups and downs, and we've had downs in our friendship, but it would be like more so like it's kind of like high school or like elementary-ish things. Like it's not like huge stuff that you can't really like get over. And one thing that I appreciate in the times that me and her would fall out is that there would be not too much pride. And when I say not too much pride, it would be like we fell out, she would hit me up, or we fallen out, we haven't spoken in a while, I would hit her up. And it will always be, I feel like a mutual thing of love there. Like we, even if we're not talking, we still love each other. We're still like on the sense of like we're family at this point. Like you done met my mama, I done met your mama and your family. Like, girl, I may not be talking to you right now, but we gonna meet up at another point in life. Like it's never the end. And that's one of the things that's like the distinct factor of this friendship for sure.
No, yeah, for sure. No, I remember growing up as well. Like one time I found your mom, shopping at a store, which I'm not going to mention, but I found her. Let's just say we're both like very big thrifters, right? So I found her at a thrift store. And so it's been a while when I last talked to Aaliyah, and I remember like her mom, right? She came up to us, she talked to my mom. And I was like, how's she doing? And your mom was like, yeah, she's performing on stage, singing. And like your mom started showing us like videos of like you singing. My mom was just like, oh my gosh, she's such a like beautiful singer. which is true. Like you're such a talented like music artist, like just in general. You're just super talented in general, like, you
Thank you.
know.
I appreciate this. I'm just listening. I've never heard this story. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, like I remember like your mom, she showed us a video of you singing, and I think it was at your church actually, where you were singing on stage. Um and then it was
No, I know which one. It wasn't at my
yeah.
church. It wasn't at church.
No?
No.
I don't remember all that much, but I remember that you were singing and we were both like in awe because you're just like such a talented artist.
I appreciate that.
It's true. It wasn't at church. Now I'm watching me being like, yeah, I was at church. It was something completely opposite.
No, if it's what I think it is, no, y'all. That was a bar. But no, I do appreciate that. Like when it comes to compliments about like my voice, whether that's my speaking voice or whether that's like my singing voice, I'm so appreciative because I feel like that's something that um, I'm gonna use this because I don't have a better word, but I feel like sometimes I can be very much like self-conscious about it because I've been just told so many different things about my voice, like just from a very young age, from just different people. And so I do have people in my life that have told me like, oh, you know, you sing really well. And I've also had other people that are like, how about you go do something
No.
else? And you know, like, and I'm always going to trust, I feel like to an extent, I'm always going to trust the naysayers or like the negative things because I feel like it takes a lot to be truthful and honest and like, you know what I mean? So I always tell
Hmm.
people, if I actually suck, please tell me. Don't have me
No.
out here, you know, trying to chase a music career and I don't sound good. Like, don't embarrass me like that.
No, 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 no. I think you sound amazing. Like honestly, I feel like if you were to like actually go for it, like 100%, like, you know, drop everything, go for it, you know, I'm pretty sure you would be successful. Like you're like really good, Aaliyah. You have no idea, but you're really good. Like, you know, I'm just like I there's not enough words to express like your talent and like how good you are at like just doing music in general, you know? And it sucks to see that like people don't maybe agree with some things, you know, because like I understand at the same time because everyone's going to have their own opinions, but
Yeah.
like I'm on like swear to you, like I'm not even kidding, like you're genuinely really really talented and you have a great voice. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, like I said, I appreciate that. And like I said, there's people who do tell me like, oh, okay, like I really do like your voice or I really do like these different things. Like I just sang for my coworker the other day and she was like, wow, so you just do it all, huh? And like, but I just really appreciate that. So yeah. And with these last things that I wanted to talk about, I wanted to ask you actually, do you have any advice in friendship and then just in general, like any advice, anything that you've been like really reflecting on? It can be this year that you are learning or like that, like an area of growth that you wouldn't mind sharing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just got married in last November for the audience that didn't know. Woohoo! Yep. Yeah, I just got married last November, which is great. Don't get me wrong. It's great being married. I love my husband so much. So much. I actually miss him. He's at work right now, but something that people just don't talk about all that often when getting married is like, for example, like for me, I'm really connected with my family. You know, I'm a really family orientated person. And I have a very traditional family to where like you don't leave the house until you're married type of thing, you know? Um, Something that people don't really talk about with that is the fact that like how much you miss your family when you leave the house, you know? Like, for example, my grandma lived with us. My brother, he's older than me. He lived with us, you know, my mom, my dad, you know, I was always around my family all the time. And I'd consider myself being like pretty close family members with like my mom, you know, I'm like pretty close with my mom. Um, It was great the first, like, I don't know, couple days. Like, as soon as we got married, we just like, oh my gosh, we're married. I can't believe we did this. It's so great. And like the difference, like, as soon as you get married, oh, all of a sudden my husband can go into my room. Like, what? Like,
You're like, you're not gonna knock first, like.
exactly. Like, it's crazy. Like, previously, like my family, of course, like I was saying, is very traditional. So, like, my husband, to get to where he's at now, he's had to overcome or like do a lot of things for my family, which is really nice, because it shows that he's put in a lot of effort. But
Yeah.
something that they don't really talk about is the fact that, like, when you leave your family, you know, you miss them a lot. Like, it's weird because it's like you just miss having like someone around. The house was never quiet, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you know, at my parents' house, I had 5 dogs, for example. The house was like never quiet. And like all of a sudden, my husband and I got married. We moved out. We have our own place, which is really nice. Don't get me wrong, but now it's quiet. So
Yeah.
it's like, what do I do with that extra time? Back then, I was just like on the go, on the go, on the go. And like all of a sudden, like, I'm not working the 3 jobs like I used to. I'm not working the 2 jobs like I used to. And it's just like quiet. So it's like, what do you do? You know?
Yeah. And she was a workaholic. She probably is still a workaholic, but she's like, trying to have some balance. Because I know y'all probably heard 3 jobs. 3 jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was out here working, y'all. But yeah. And I think, too, to your point, is that when you're under your parents' roof, or like when you live with your family, you can take certain things for granted, or certain things might just get on your nerves. Because let's be honest, being
Mm-hmm.
around your family too much be annoying sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, I need a break, or this house
Yeah.
is always too loud. I can't. But now that you have, now that you're on the other side of what you once have probably prayed and asked God for, it's like, oh. And like you said, it's not that it's bad. It just takes some getting used to.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah. And like, it's really nice. Like, guys, if you guys can get married, I recommend it. Just because it's really nice, just going home, being able to be with the person you love, and then being able to like, I'm a clingy person. I consider myself a clingy person. I love like snuggling and cuddling and stuff like that. And being able to do that at the end of the night is just like so nice and so like refreshing in a way, because it's like, now I can have my me time type of thing, compared to like when you were with your family, there wasn't any privacy, or there wasn't, that me time that you were needing to like officially like wind down and like relax.
Yeah, you can say that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, question. So, in this time of you guys being married and staying under the same roof, it's hard for you to go to sleep if he's not in there, huh?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, if he's not here, like, it's just the aspect of like, I really care about him.
Right.
And typically when he's not in bed with me, it's because he's like doing something, or he's not home yet from work. Because my husband, he has a blue collar job, for example, there's no like real end time. Um, to be like, all right, guys, I'm clocking out. It's 5 o'clock. Like, no,
Yeah.
he has to stay until he gets the job done. And so, there's times where he gets home like late. And so I worry about him, because it's like, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night. Who knows what's out there? We don't know if, there's like drunks, or, I don't know, just like,
Yeah, tweakers,
yeah,
especially out here. Yeah, you really don't know.
yeah, oh yeah. So, like, I worry about him and I care about him. And it's hard because it's like, because I worry about him and think about him, like, I can't, like, I don't know, it just feels very, like, lonely in a way. I don't know.
No, that makes sense though. Like you said, you already came from being under the roof of all these people, and then 5 dogs, and then you're working, like, you are constantly around people, you're constantly having conversations and stuff like that. And so now it's just you two. So if he's gone, it's like, okay, you're by yourself, which at times can be fun. You probably dance around. I know you have your dog and like you guys is different animals and stuff. But then after a certain point in time, you're going to want your husband. You're going to want that
Hmm.
company. So no, that definitely makes sense. And so would you say that that's like the biggest shocker to you so far about being married?
Um, the biggest shocker? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like it's different for everyone, you know? Like, yes, in a way, because I miss him, like, just being in bed with him. But, like, every now and then my grandma would sleep with me, you know, just because, like, we had to share a bed and she lives, you know, in Puerto Rico. And so she'd be living with us for a little bit. Um, but I think it's more the aspect of the fact that, like, this is the man of my dreams essentially, you know. This is the man I care about. This is the man I love so much that I couldn't bear just like not being with him, like, or like the thought of not being with him, you know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And like you said at your wedding and in your guys' culture, you're not married in just this life. You said and the next to infinity and
Yeah.
beyond. So no, I hear you with that. Um and there was something that I was about to say as well, but now I'm like, I think I forgot.
No, but like what about you, for example? Like what is something that you probably learned, or what is maybe an advice that you can give to those who are thinking about getting married or trying to make that next step? Like what would you suggest for them? Like you've been married for a while now, girl.
Yeah, I have. I've been married a little over 5 years, and but I've been with my husband for 8 years. And one thing that I would say with marriage specifically is that I don't know. Maybe this is just me. This might sound a little toxic. I don't know yet, but I realize that arguments can become a little bit more pettier when you first get married and when you first move in. Like when for us, since we were together like kind of young, like you have your little arguments with it. Like
Hmm.
especially if like one thing that people kind of don't talk about all the time is that when you are in a healthy relationship, your arguments are like they're not even that bad. Like like
Hmm.
they're really not. You're arguing about stupid stuff.
Yeah, literally.
But one thing that I realized is like when you get mad for us and we had moved in together, what I mean by petty is like you over here rushing to get in the door and then you just lock the person out for a little bit. And I'm not locking them out all night or anything like that, but it'll be little stuff. That's what I realized. Like, but I had to grow up. Like we've matured, we've grown past all of that type of stuff. But I just realized like the arguments would be a little bit more pettier. But it's kind of funny. And then the other thing that I realized on a more serious note was that some people when you get married you just think about like horse and carriage and like babies or like life together in this and you romanticize it, but it's like what about the other things? Like I feel like people don't really take into consideration when it's time to have those heavier conversations, or what is it that you're going to do, or what is the routine and cycle of your relationship. So I feel like one, if you're going to do marriage, y'all both have to have your own individual relationships with God. And then two, you're going to have to be able to come together and like pray together, which is something that I'm still working on. But one thing that I do appreciate about my husband and I is the fact that he prays over me and I pray over him. And sometimes, like when we remember, because I feel like for us, it's really easy for us to do our individual walks, but we need to come together in the walks a little bit more. So we can always have conversations and talk about God, but we're learning to get together and start praying. And so, even just the other day, like before we had even got out of bed, I like to be held and we like to have a cuddle before bed and then waking up in the morning. So in the times where my husband's like, all right, come here to hold me, he like held me in his arms and then he said a prayer for the both of us and like over me before we like stepped out of the bed and like kind of to start the day. And that's something that I appreciate, or, just having the assurance that I'm not doing the walk with God alone. My partner
Hmm.
is also, craving to do that walk and to know God. And like, that's one thing that in some ways I feel like he's better than me at. And I'm sorry, I know I'm talking for a while.
No, you're good.
But I feel like he's a little bit better with I want to say with just being intentional about his time with God, because he'll wake up early and get up to make sure he reads his Bible and to make sure that he's praying and that he's praising God in the morning before making breakfast and doing all these different things. And me, on the other hand, I'm over here, pressing the snooze button and getting 30 more minutes and the intent, like, you know what I mean? So I feel like he motivates me. I haven't started doing it necessarily, but I do think about it often. I'm like, you know what? I need to do that. So I like the fact that he's leading our home spiritually like that. And he kind of, I noticed like he sets the tone in the mornings for sure.
Oh, that's really nice, honestly, because like something that I've definitely like noticed about Nick, like the difference from when he does something and when he doesn't. For example, like Nick in the mornings before he goes to work, he gives me like a goodbye kiss, right? And although people might not be thinking that, oh yeah, a good like, goodbye kiss, it does much, but
It
honestly,
does. It
yeah,
does.
like it really does. And so that's what people don't understand or like don't like comprehend sometimes is that the fact that like the little things, like even just saying like good morning, like texting him good morning, just like when we were in our dating phase, I love you, have a good day at work, things like that really changed like the house.
You're still getting good morning texts.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
No, but like no, I'm typically the one doing it first. But that's because like he gives me a kiss goodbye, and I text him as soon as I have availability to be like, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And like he answers back, which is really sweet, like saying the same thing. But just like trying to not lose that touch, like just
Yeah.
trying to, you know. And now that you were on the topic of like, you know, home strength, spiritual strength as a couple, I just got this like new picture frame. As you know, that the audience probably doesn't know is I love Jesus Christ with like lambs. Like that's always been my favorite thing. It's like him around like sheep, right? I have this art or this painting or this canvas, whatever you want to call it, in my house that says, "My worries are few because my blessings are many." And that's something I really like. Because it's true, like sometimes we go by life crazy, life is going to be crazy no matter what we do, no matter, life is going to continue being crazy.
Yeah.
But because we have people that support one another and because we have that support system and don't go too far, like just praying and being able to talk to him in the scriptures, because we have all of that, we're able to be okay, you know
Yeah.
and so like that's something I really appreciate about our friendship and about like growing up, with a strong support system is that no matter what is going to happen, we always have each other's back.
Yeah.
And I say this for like you too, Aaliyah, like if there's anything you ever need or if there's any difficulty that you're going through, I hope that we're able to get through things together. And as for the audience, if there's anything that you're going through alone, just know that you're not alone, that there's always someone there for you.
Yeah.
Um, and that I hope they're able to heal, or I hope you guys are able to heal from the things that you guys don't talk about, you know.
Yes. And this is one thing that her name is not Faith for nothing. Like, this girl walks in faith,
No,
talks in faith. And when I was at my lowest points in life, fighting for my life, quite literally, this woman right here was the one that I was calling when I was, breaking down. And I felt as though I couldn't keep on pushing much further. She was the one that kept speaking life into me and letting me know, the God that we both serve. And not even just that, but like being able to pray for me. And I feel like that's one thing about friendships. And I'm going to bring this to a close because this one is long enough. But one thing that I will say is that you may say that you have good friends, but how many of them will actually be there to speak life to you, for one, but two, actually be praying for you in the midst of that, or being able to listen to you. And sometimes I would hold back, especially in the season of like, her preparing for her wedding, which was such a beautiful wedding. I got to be a bridesmaid, which I was so happy about. But I would know when to kind of pull back, because at the end of the day, in those different seasons, it's like, okay, she's about to be a bride. You can't come with all these different things. But one thing that I did appreciate was that she would leave room, for me to be able to speak about things that I'm not going to talk about right now. But I just appreciate it. So you just have to have praying friends and people that really are in the faith and actually believe and stand on what it is that they believe and know. So like I said in closing, thank you so much for spending time with me and joining me on the podcast. Thank you guys for spending time with us today. Any last goodbyes that you want to say before we end this episode today?
No, other than thank you for inviting me on your podcast, and thank you, audience, for listening this long. If you were able to listen this long, don't forget to follow and like, of course.
Yes, let's get me to 100 subscribers. All right. Bye, you guys. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next episode.